Hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Laser and today we're back in Warframe. It's been a couple of days since Onslaught was released and it's still a little bit buggy, but let me give you a quick update on my thoughts on it and current progression. So finally I got Khora. Actually I managed to get 2 full sets of Khora within roughly a day of farming, with the neuroptics being the hardest to get so far. Now, probably most of you by this point have gotten Khora and are trying the harder mode simply to get those pieces for Lato and Braton Vandal, simply because they, well, if you don't want to use them, they sure sell for a lot right now. Receivers go for 100, 150, blueprints can reach even over 300 plat, at least at the current time when it's still fresh and new. So it's a good opportunity to make some plat if you're like me and don't actually buy any type of plat. Now I've been fiddling around with the hard one. When I go multiplayer with my group, it's really no problem running 12 waves at the very least. However, most of the time you're gonna be running solo, and I'm gonna share with you what kind of worked for me the best up until this point. So what I do is go Frost Prime, it doesn't really matter, and the build I'm gonna be outlining really quickly here is mostly a icy avalanche build. Ideally you would want to get some health regeneration instead of physique aura. That would be good, definitely. And I only run one defense mod, and that is redirection. You can drop one of the strength mods and put in a bit more vitality, absolutely, but this has kind of been working for me so far. And the build mostly revolves around range with stretch and reach, and the rest is mostly fleeting expertise for a little bit of efficiency. I gotta be able to cast, right? And a whole lot of ability strength, even transient fortitude, but not kept out because, well, I don't have space anymore and I can't really be arsed to forma him. So let's jump in and let's talk a bit more about kind of the state right now of Sanctuary Onslaught. To be honest, I kept kind of going at it around 2-3, something like that, after I managed to get Khora, simply because I did want to get some of those Vandal parts for the Braton and the Lato as well. Especially the Lato does definitely look like a very interesting weapon, one that I would love to keep in my collection. And Frost has mostly worked out okay. Has been most efficient for me. A little bit of Mesa as well has worked kinda nicely, and AoEers not really. So AoE spammers like Banshee don't really work that good, because you'll see if you cast your 4 ability 2 times in a row, you will get that force cooldown. So when I come in, I simply cast the 4 like that and everybody gets a shield. Look at that shield, 4,138 points worth of shield on everybody in my party. Everybody got that, so that will give them a whole lot of survivability. First level, like you know by now, is this Orokin tile set, Orokin Derelict mostly, and we're fighting the Infested. On this one, I would recommend you guys go for melee, not necessarily shoot them down. Melee seems to be working a whole lot better here. And players that have Maiming Strike, those of you that are rich, I don't, will definitely benefit in this level, because you just slide around. And I know this is a very cheap way of doing things, and to be honest, I really don't like it, but it is highly efficient, at least for the first level. Now, what I want to do next is kind of outline the remaining bugs that are still kind of plaguing this game mode. They did fix a lot of things, okay, they did, but not fully. There are a couple of still pesky bugs. First of all, let's talk about the screen whiteout. Screen whiteout can be fixed maybe by using your operator. So if your screen starts to go white for no reason, or it has gone white and you can't see anything but you still hear your Warframe being functional in the background, press 5. If that doesn't work, try it again, spam it a couple of times and see if that will fix it or not. If it doesn't fix it, to be honest, I don't know of any other way to actually fix it, so you might as well give up. If you disconnect, then reconnect back to your party, you might actually be screwing your entire party over, because if somebody disconnects and reconnects again, then the portal to the next level may not appear. This has happened to me like 8 times out of 10. There is a way to get a disconnected player back into the party, and that is by him reconnecting when a portal has already appeared. So for example, if you guys are playing in a group and one of your friends disconnected, call them to reconnect when the portal has appeared and just be patient for him to reconnect. So you see, 2 4s in a row, I got a 15-second cooldown on my 4 ability. So those are kind of the bugs that are still plaguing this game mode. You might also get a crash. If a crash happens, again, reconnect rules currently apply. Now I hope that these issues will be ironed out quickly and you will no longer need this advice. Hopefully. Tomorrow's a work day, so I think the guys over at DE will be hard at work fixing these bugs. As for Frost and this tactic, it's an icy avalanche frost and it works really well simply because it increases the survivability of your entire team. One. Second, it provides a lot of crowd control, and you know what? The damage ain't half bad either. So there's that. Second level, you're gonna be fighting the Grenier. Now these guys, well, for the most part, they don't really pose much of a threat. With Mesa, for example, your Shattered Shield will provide you all the survivability you need to run around and gun them down. Now, as a general advice, I would say bring a energy frame with you. Definitely bring an energy frame, because from what you saw so far, probably you know that you are getting energy starved, and that's not because you don't have your Xenoric dash or your energy siphons and all whatnot, but there's a lot of energy leeches, and that causes problems to any frame that is too reliant on his abilities. So that's kind of like the last piece of advice I gotta give you. Other than that, well, keep on farming. You should be getting everything you need. Khora wasn't all that hard to obtain. Like I said, only the neuroptics took me about a day, and then they dropped 2 in a row, because why not? Them's the breaks. As for Lato and Braton Vandal parts, those have kind of been scarce. I managed to get all the scenes in the entire pack, in the entire patch. But when it comes to Lato and Braton Vandal parts, only 1-2 maximum. Apparently the drop rates might be a bit lower than what the wiki said. I'm not entirely sure, but again, they are fairly scarce. And well, that's pretty much it. Let's see how far can we get here and if we're actually gonna get a decent reward this time. Shields up. And as you can see, my guys are not really taking all that much damage. 0% on me, 0% on Mr. Blue, something, 1% and 99%, but that's probably not a lot of damage. That is simply the percentage there. So Frost definitely works good here. Now, if you want to run this tactic like I do, you might run in a little bit of trouble. I should warn you. You will meet the occasional chroma which bitches and whines because this and that and my ability and I cannot use. Or you may find stuff like, I don't know, Nidus. Oh man, I gotta take damage in order to get energy back. Which are legitimate complaints, which should be noted and ignored and keep on moving. Keep in mind that you are keeping your team alive, and survivability in the harder mode is more important than damage and all whatnot. At least during the early levels, because during the early levels it is pretty much impossible to fail efficiency if you're actually playing it. And during the later levels, don't worry, they're gonna burn through your frost shield without much issue, and everybody will be taking damage so they can use their abilities and get their energy back and all whatnot. So again, take note of complaints and duly ignore them. I highly recommend you picking up Frost. I highly recommend you using Icy Avalanche build for him in this Onslaught mode, especially in the harder one. In the easy one, you can pretty much go for whatever you wish. And host migration just happened. Another problem with this game mode that a lot depends on the host currently. Of course, this is another bug. Let's say the host only wanted the first 2 rotations and then he disconnects. And if he disconnects, basically this happens, which is a never-ending loading screen, and then you will basically be done with the mission. It will be finished. Too bad too, because this was such a nice group. We were doing so well. And well, I guess that's about it. Once again, I'm forced to end the video abruptly, and this has been my third attempt, so I'm giving up at least for now. Once again, a quick look at the Frost build. Again, the game mode is currently still a bit buggy. Half my attempts kind of end up in failure because of bugs, but I'm ever so hopeful that DE will fix these issues in the following days to come. One last look at Frost build. I highly recommend it if you want to go solo in the harder version of Onslaught. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, by all means, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm off. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye.